My parents gave my college fund to my sister's wedding, so I gave her marriage an expiration date. My sister could make our parents buy anything with tears. She cried about her friends' purses until they bought her designer bags. She cried about missing parties until they paid for trips nobody invited her on. She cried about needing therapy, then spent the money shopping. So when she got engaged, I knew what was coming. Flora announced her engagement to Carter at Sunday dinner after 8 months of dating. Before anyone could say congratulations, she was already crying about wanting a $75,000 wedding. She sobbed into her hands about her friends' beautiful weddings and how embarrassed she'd be without one. My dad reached over and rubbed her shoulder while making soothing promises. Over the next month, Flora brought wedding magazines to every family meal. She'd cry looking at venues we couldn't afford and sob about dresses that cost more than cars. Then she escalated during dinner one night. She pushed her plate away crying about how her friends' parents took out loans. She said everyone would think we were poor and threatened to cancel the engagement because Carter's family would judge us. My parents asked me to stay after dinner while Flora left with Carter. They looked exhausted from weeks of tears. "We've decided to use your college fund for Flora's wedding," my mom said. They explained how I was smart and could get loans, but Flora needed this. When I reminded them that money had been saved for 18 years, they just said she'd only get married once. The bank teller informed me the next morning that my account was closed. My parents had withdrawn all $75,000 the next day. That night, Flora was conveniently there when I confronted them. She hugged me with fake tears and thanked me for understanding. She kept saying how I always figured things out while my mom nodded along. They acted like I should be grateful for Flora's gratitude. My last attempt came the next day when I showed them my acceptance letter. Even with scholarships, I needed $30,000. They dismissed it, saying plenty of people worked through college. Flora's Instagram post that night showed wedding venues with "dreams come true when you have a supportive family." I stared at my useless acceptance letter and decided right then my sister would get exactly the wedding she deserved. I became the perfect supportive sister overnight and offered to help plan everything. Flora was thrilled and gave me all her wedding passwords and planning documents. While reviewing vendor contracts at her apartment, I noticed Carter constantly checking his phone. Then I noticed the dating app notifications kept popping up on his screen. He'd swipe them away, but I saw which apps he used. That night I created a fake profile. Amber was everything Carter liked based on his social media. Supermodel-like body with a baby face, dreams of being a housewife, and wanting 8 babies. Carter matched with me in 2 hours. Over 3 weeks, I built the perfect conversation while helping Flora plan. He complained about wedding costs and called Flora dramatic. He sent shirtless photos and suggested meeting after his honeymoon, saying, "What happens in Mexico stays in Mexico." I saved every screenshot while continuing to help Flora choose centerpieces. Flora's bridal shower arrived 3 weeks before the wedding when everything was booked and paid for. The country club venue cost $20,000 and required full prepayment. The $10,000 dress hung in her closet with no return policy. The honeymoon to Mexico was completely non-refundable. 35 women gathered at my aunt's house for the shower. Carter's mom and sisters came early to help set up. All our cousins drove in from different states, and Flora's sorority sisters coordinated matching outfits. My mom went overboard with decorations and games and even hired a photographer. My aunt always used her Bluetooth speaker for party games and music. I made sure my phone was ready with Carter's messages pulled up. During gift opening, Flora's cousin asked if I was dating anyone since I'd been so busy with wedding planning. I laughed and mentioned how only creeps message me lately. I said there was this engaged guy who wouldn't stop sending inappropriate photos. Flora perked up from her pile of gifts and told me to show everyone. She said we could all laugh at the pathetic loser trying to cheat on his fiancée. I pretended to hesitate, then connected my phone to share the messages. Carter's profile picture filled the TV screen, and the room went completely silent. His messages started displaying one by one on the screen for everyone to read. "Who's Amber?" Flora screamed into her phone after calling him. Carter stammered denials about being set up, but she kept going. She asked about the blonde he'd been messaging for 3 weeks and wanted to meet in Mexico. When she read his message about what happens in Mexico stays there, he hung up. Flora threw her phone and ran out sobbing while Carter's mother sat frozen in shock. The wedding stayed canceled. Every deposit lost. Carter got exposed by multiple girls while my parents begged vendors for refunds. They're still paying off credit cards 6 months later. I'm thriving at community college with a job I love. Flora cries daily, but the tears don't work anymore. Nobody buys anything.